Welcome to the Sravanam Saturday, the deep and systematic study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry for the delay. We are running a little late because we are IST, our typical Indian time zone. But yes, sorry for the delay. And we have very, very special speakers today, the power couple, Rakesh Prabhu and Shwetha Mataji. So we'll be studying today Canto 2, Chapter 1, text 20 to 23. So,
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. We'll begin with Radha Madhav. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya
Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sargana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sargana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, we'll do. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Virasam Tato Jayam Udarayat. We'll begin with the verses.
yes.
Hare Krishna. So we are going to read verses 20, 21, 22, 23 from Canto 2, Chapter 1. So we'll start with the shloka recitation. रजस्तमोभ्यामाक्षिप्तम्
रजस्तमोभ्यामाक्षिप्तम्
विमूढं मन आत्मनः
विमूढं मन आत्मनः
यच्चेद्धारणया धीरो
यच्चेदारणाय धीरो
हन्ति या तत्कृतं मलम्
हन्ति यत्तत्कृतं मलम्
रजस्तमोभ्यामाक्षिप्तम्
रजस्तमोभ्यामाक्षिप्तम्
विमूढं मन आत्मनः
विमूढं मन आत्मनः
यच्चेद्धारणया धीरो
यच्चेदारणाय धीरो
हन्ति या तत्कृतं मलम्
हन्ति या तत्कृतं मलम्
रजस्तमोभ्याम आक्षिप्तम्
रजस्तमोभ्यामाक्षिप्तम्
विमूढं मन आत्मनः
विमूढं मन आत्मनः
यच्चेद्धारणया धीरो
यच्चेद्धारणया धीरो
हन्ति या तत्कृतं मलम्
हन्ति या तत्कृतं मलम्. Can we go to
So, word to word meaning Raja, the passionate mode of nature,
Tamobhyam,
Tamobhyam, as well as by the ignorant mode of material nature, Akshiptam, agitated, Vimodham, bewildered, Manah, the mind, Atmanaha, of one's own, Yachet, get it rectified, Dharanaya, by conception of Vishnu, Dhiraha, the pacified, Hanti, destroys, Yeah, all those. Tatkritam, done by them, Malam, dirty things. Translation. One's mind is always agitated by the passionate mode of material nature and bewildered by the ignorant mode of nature. But one can rectify such conceptions by the relation of Vishnu and thus become pacified by cleansing the dirty things created by them. Yeah. Purport. Do you have to do purport?
However you have to say.
Yeah. Purport. Persons generally conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance cannot be bona fide candidates for being situated in the transcendental stage of God realization. Only persons conducted by the mode of goodness can have the knowledge of the supreme truth. Effects of the modes of passion and ignorance are manifested by too much hankering after wealth and women. And those who are too much after wealth and women can rectify their leanings only by constant remembrance of Vishnu in his feature composed of impersonal potences. Generally, the impersonalists or monists are influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance. Such impersonalists think of themselves as liberated souls, but they have no knowledge of the transcendental personal feature of the absolute truth. Actually, they are impure in heart on account of being devoid of knowledge of the personal feature of the absolute. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that after many hundreds of births, the impersonal philosopher surrenders unto the personality of Godhead to acquire such a qualification of God realization in the personal feature. The neophyte impersonalist is given a chance to realize the relation of the Lord in everything by the philosophy of pantheism. Pantheism in its higher status does not permit the student to form an impersonal conception of the absolute truth, but it extends the conception of the absolute truth into the field of so-called material energy. Everything created by the material energy can be dovetailed with the absolute by an attitude of service, which is the essential part of living energy. The pure devotee of the Lord knows the art of converting everything into the spiritual existence by the service attitude, and only in that devotional way can the theory of pantheism be perfected. So we all know that this world is the illusionary energy of the Lord. So God has created this world where the three modes are predominant, like the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. And human beings, act accordingly. So they act in mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. And we have to, let's say, So let's say you have a dog in your house. Okay. So you call the dog and feed the dog. So the dog will wag its tail, sit beside you, and it will eat. So if you compare the same behavior with a stray dog, so the stray dog, it will steal the same food. It will run after 2 or 3 streets away, and it will eat the food there. So even the dog knows that that food is stolen. And we human beings, that means why I gave this example is even dogs have rational intelligence. So we humans have we are advanced intelligent people. So our consciousness should be improved on a day-to-day basis, and we should not spend time living in the mode of ignorance, living in the mode of passion. So we should try to make attempts to live in the mode of goodness. So if you are in the mode of goodness, safe to say that you have good intelligence. If you're living in the mode of passion and ignorance, so there is no spiritual life in mode of passion and ignorance. So though you try to make up, you're not living a good spiritual life. So your intelligence is messed up. When your intelligence is messed up, you will degrade your position. And I was watching an interview. So there is a 40-year-old man. He was sharing his experience, how his parents got divorced. So his parents, no, his mother has a friend. Okay. So her mother used to come, her mother's friend used to come to her place when her father is at work. And she used to kind of like play kutinati. Kutinati means like, is this what John has to provide you? Like, that's it. You deserve much more than this. This is nothing. Like, look at her, look at this girl, like, how they're leading their life. Like, you have nothing, something like that. So she played kutinati behavior. Though she played kutinati behavior, if her intelligence is in right state, she wouldn't have fought with her father, fought with his father. Like when he came back from office, right? Like, she used to, whatever kutinati her friend played on her, she used to start expressing those feelings to her husband. So you didn't provide me enough, I'm not happy, something like that. So her intelligence is messed up. She developed dishonesty towards her husband. So that is the biggest drawback. If you are in the mode of passion and ignorance, your intelligence is messed up and you develop all bad qualities.
The Kutinati is politics and duplicity.
Yeah, Kutinati is politics and duplicity.
What is that term? Like, where is the origin?
Origin, it comes from his darbalyam. So when you have a weak heart, weakness of heart, let's say somebody is diagnosed diabetic. If that person is still eating sweets, then he has a weakness of heart. Yeah. His weakness of heart is there because his intelligence is messed up. He's messed up here. So that should not be there. And so there's something called tuchya ichha. Tuchya ichha is desire for Krishna and Itara. So in this material world, we have so many deviations, allurements other than Krishna. So we must develop desire for Krishna, and so you have experience. Anybody have experience in studying in boarding school? So in boarding school, like you have everything, but you don't have your parents there. So material energy is like that. Like you have everything, all luxuries are available, but you don't have your parents. So I studied in boarding school. I know the feeling. So
Separation.
yeah, separation. So there is school management used to allow parents to come on a day, and that day is like a festival for us. So we, in our boarding school, we had everything. Like, we had yoga classes, swimming classes, horse riding, everything was there, but parents were not there. So material world is like that. You have everything, but your parents are not there. So we have to make attempts to go to our parents, and in order to go to our parents, we need to earn that qualification. And that qualification is you need to have good behavior, good character, and this all comes from good intelligence. So think about it, like, intelligence plays a key role. In Bhagavatam only, third canto, 15th chapter, Lord Brahma says, people who cannot go to Vaikuntha. So in this verse, he says, Yanna vrajantya agavidho rachana anuvada shrinvanti enya vishaya kukathamatagni yastushruta hata bhagen tasaris tam stankshipanthya sharanesha tamahan suhanta. So in this beautiful shloka, Lord Brahma describes the beauty of Vaikuntha, and he shares in the end who cannot go to Vaikuntha. So there are people who have these qualities, who are much more interested in material discussions, gossips, and they are more interested in these topics, like, places they have been to, where they eat, where they drink, and all that stuff. By talking and listening to these conversations, one's mind is fully corrupted. When one's mind is fully corrupted, their intelligence is corrupted. When their intelligence is corrupted, they lose the qualification to go to spiritual world. So to enter into spiritual world, we must listen to Krishna Katha. We must know the Supreme Personality. We must know his intentions, his love for us. We must know his incarnations. So if we hear to topics related to only sense enjoyment, we will stay in this material world. Material topics are corrupt intelligence. So further complications, Lord Brahma explains what happens to you if you constantly hear to materialistic topics. The essence of life is gone. So what is the essence of life?
To always remember Krishna.
Yeah. So if you speak about other kathas other than Krishna kathas, so the essence is gone. So the essence of human life is gone. So they say, right, like, there's animals and we human beings share common things: eating, mating, sleeping, defending. So what is that one thing that we can do better than animals? Questioning, asking who am I, what is my relationship with God, who is God, and all this stuff. So we have to explore these areas as much as we can than the other four areas: eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So, and we must let go of all this unnecessary pratishta. So in Hriddaurbalyam, when you have the weakness of heart,
What's Pratishta?
pratishta is like, if you get what you want, for example, so you develop that ego. You go on and you show off, hey, I have this, tell me if I'm great or not. Pride. And if you don't have what you want, and if somebody has what they want, you develop matsarata. So matsarata is like a makki biting constantly. Your mind, your stomach burns. You wanted something and somebody else got it. Your stomach gets upset, like, all the time. And gradually we develop envy towards them. That is what matsarata is all about. And that result of matsarata is the result of pratishta. the result of Matsarata and the result of Pratishta is Kutinati. I just spoke about Kutinati, duplicity, deceitful behavior. So in Ramayana, Kaikeyi wants her son Bharat to be the king and she sent Kaushalya's son Rama to forest. And I heard the story that the maid servant played the Kutinati game on Kaikeyi. So Kaikeyi, naturally, she was also inclined towards Ram, but when the maid servant played this Kutinati, deceitful behavior on Kaikeyi, if her intelligence is strong, she wouldn't have understood and she would have analyzed what this maid servant is saying and she would have stopped wherever she wanted, but her intelligence is messed up and she sent Rama to forest. Similarly, me and Alankar Prabhu, you are there. So if either of us has a deceitful behavior, dishonesty, if somebody comes and says, Alankar is not like that, then I'll, oh yeah, is it? Tell me more. When we have the dishonesty behavior. So again and again, we will develop these qualities when our intelligence is messed up. Yeah. So we have to make sure, we have to preserve our intelligence. We should not mess up our intelligence. Forget about developing bhakti, developing love towards Krishna. Don't mess. Just saying, we should not, at least we should be in a position, we took this human life. At least, preserve your intelligence is what I recommend. And
hearing Krishna.
Exactly. So, as it was explained in the translation, right? So our minds is always agitated by the passionate mode of material nature and bewildered by the ignorant mode of nature. So this is the system this world is designed in such a way, right? If you don't clean your house for a week, you know how it looks like. So we have to constantly, clean the dust and make sure our house looks clean, hygiene. And similarly, we won't sit at one place all our lives. So we'll work, we'll meet a lot of people. We should not develop unnecessary impressions. We should not develop unnecessary impressions by meeting people, by working someplace and all that stuff. So we have to act in an intelligent way and substitute good things rather bad things. So our mind hankers for 5 pleasures. We all know Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha. So always listen to Krishna Katha, always listen to spiritual topics, always eat prasadam, vegetarian food, vegan food, and yeah. So we have experiences at Trinetra. So just some 2-3 weeks back, I think we did book distribution at Trinetra. So right beside Trinetra, you have the meat shop, the halal meat shop. So Desi meat shop is there. So people they don't take book, but they go to the meat shop. So after they shop in the Trinetra grocery shop, the next shopping center is that meat shop. So such people, they see meat much more important than Krishna. So those are the people. I'm not saying anything bad, but I was like that once. So I'm 38 years old right now, and I developed bhakti exactly, to be honest, after coming to ISKCON only. So before that, in 2012 onwards, I was very serious about devotional side and all, but I was doing every thing, every nonsense. Yeah, I was into all habits and all that stuff. But that's what we need association. Association played a key role. Thanks to the entire community actually, and so we have to substitute good things. We have to substitute good friends instead of time pass friends or something like that. Once we get attracted to Krishna beauty, you will not get attracted to anything else. And so still there are people in this material world whose eyes light up when they see, for us, our eyes light up when we see Lord Krishna. But there are so many people outside whose eyes light up when they see chicken drumstick, when they see beer bottle or whatever it is. So we, as ISKCON volunteers, we also have to make attempts to go out and do book distribution a lot, do service a lot, so that we can we owe that to Lord Krishna. So everybody is a part and parcel of Krishna. We identified ourselves as part and parcels of Krishna. We have to help others, like how I got help from initially Prema Sindhu Prabhu, now Krishna Prabhu. So similarly, we have to help others also to get this awareness or spread this awareness too. And so in the purport also, Srila Prabhupada has spoken about the impersonalists, basically. So, Michael Faraday, so the father of electricity. So,
Electricity.
he invented electricity. Yeah, he invented electricity. So one day, one reporter, he went to interview Mr. Faraday. So his house and his office is in the same compound. So this reporter went and to the address where Mr. Faraday lives, and he saw two buildings, and he was confused which building to go. And he saw a gardener doing gardening. And he said, "Hey Babu, can you come here?" So that gardener who was doing this gardening, he came. "Can you tell me, where I can meet Mr. Faraday?" So this guy says, "You can go straight, and there is a room there. You can wait there, and he will come in 30 minutes." So this reporter will go and sit there. So after 30 minutes, the same gardener enters the room, and he sits opposite to this reporter in Michael Faraday's chair. He himself is a Michael Faraday, basically. So impersonalists are like that. So they think Krishna spent time with cowherd boys. He ate pakodis, he ate samosas like us. So he's like us. They don't believe that he's God. So when Faraday was gardening, he has his sleeves up here, and he looked like a gardener. But when he took his sleeves back, when he dressed well, and this reporter, was crestfallen, and he stands up. "I'm really sorry, sir. I didn't know that you are Mr. Faraday." He said, "No, don't worry. Sit down. That's not a problem. Sit down." So God is like that. He takes avatars to share his love personally to us. We should not take that for granted. So we should not think that he's just like us, so he's not God. Is not. Impersonalists think that way. Unfortunately, they are intelligent people only, but they are stuck at a level where which is no good to anybody. Yeah.
Prabhupada says that they are simply causing nuisance in the society.
Yeah. And so people, it's very hard to debate with impersonalists. Only people with caliber like Srila Prabhupada only can put them in the spot and give them the right answers. Yeah.
Same thing for Sukdev Goswami. He was impersonalist.
Yeah.
But only by the association of pure devotees. Then he became like Vyasdev.
Exactly.
Then only one can understand that the personality of Godhead has, of course, its personality.
Correct. We'll move on to the next sloka. Any questions? Good.
I also really like First of all, that's a great, the analogies that you gave. Two of them. One is this parody one about impersonalism, and another one was what was it before? The first you said about the dog. Then second was the boarding school without parents.
Yeah.
You have everything to enjoy, but the day you meet your parents, that's a festival day.
Exactly.
Same thing here.
Exactly.
And it's Krishna is there. Krishna is there.
Exactly.
Krishna is there in the form of holy name, but unfortunately we don't have the eyes to see or the taste to chant, and that's why we feel that separation. Even though Krishna is here. So imagine parents are in the boarding school also, but we are so illusioned that we don't see them. That's the same thing, right?
All this is because of Hridharvalyam.
Duplicity.
Weakness
of heart.
Weakness of heart.
And that happens when your intelligence is messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 2.1 to 221. Yasyam sandharayamanayam.
Yasyam sandharyamanayam.
Sorry. Yasyam sandharyamanayam.
Yasyam sandharyamanayam.
Yogino bhakti lakshanaha.
Yogino bhakti lakshanaha.
Ashu sampadhyate yoga.
Ashu sampadyate yoga.
Ashrayam bhadramikshataha.
Ashrayam bhadramikshataha.
You want to go ahead?
You can continue.
Continue.
Yasyam, by such systematic remembrance, sandharyamanayam, and thus being fixed in the habit of yoginaha, the mystics, bhakti lakshanaha, being practiced through the devotional system, ashu, very soon, sampadhyate, attains success, yogaha, connection by devotional service, ashrayam, under the shelter of bhadram, the all-good, ikshataha, which seeing that. Translation. O King, by the system of remembrance and by being fixed in the habit of seeing the all-good personal conception of the Lord, one can very soon attain devotional service to the Lord under his direct shelter. Success of mystic performances is achieved only by the help of devotional attitude. Pantheism, or the system of feeling the presence of the Almighty everywhere, is a sort of training of the mind to become accustomed to the devotional conception, and it is this devotional attitude of the mystic that makes possible the successful termination of such mystic attempts. One is not, however, elevated to such a successful status without a tinge of mixture in devotional service. The devotional atmosphere created by pantheistic vision develops into devotional service in later days, and that is the only benefit for the impersonalist. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 12.5 that the impersonal way of self-realization is more troublesome because it reaches the goal in an indirect way. Although the impersonalist also becomes obsessed with the personal feature of the Lord after a long time. And so one important thing we need to understand is even when we come to the temple and take darshan, so it's not that we look at the deity and fall in love with the deity. So we have to look at the deity form after studied from the scriptures. So if we study scriptures and hear about scriptures, and then when you look at the deity, you think, is this the same Radha Nadbar who lifted the Govardhan hill and who danced on the head of the Kaliya serpent? And so one day, in Vrindavan, all the cowherd boys and the cows, they drank the poisoned water and they died. So Krishna, with his glance, he woke them up, he brought them back to their life. So when we read these scriptures, then we look at the deity, and then we'll see a different view of the deity. That's the advantage of reading the scriptures and knowing God. Many more, right? It is when he was days old or months old baby with his tender lips, he killed Putana. So I'm not sure, but like I heard the size of Putana is like 12 miles or 10 miles. So it's like a months old baby, like a small baby. He killed her. How many people, like when we look at this, TT, like think of all these pastimes. So, and so when we contemplate on these pastimes, on these scriptures and all, so that's why, like people. I never cried in front of Radha Natwar, but there are people who cry in front of Radha Natwar. I used to see in the videos, and are they really crying or are they making it up? Like I used to feel that way because I never cried that. Like, but when I heard this, I listened to Radheshyam Prabhu's and Gauranga Srinivas Prabhu's lectures, all glories to them. So Radheshyam Prabhu was saying this, like when you read scriptures and when you come and see the deity, is this the same person who killed all these demons, and then their eyes are tinged with salve of love. That's what, like that. Then I realized, well, maybe they're thinking of all those pastimes, and that is the reason why they are crying. So, and otherwise, like it will just become a sentimental thing. So, like before going to Lord Shiva's temples, Lord Balaji's temples, knowledge was very less. So we used to go, take darshan, so do whatever the pujari says, and that has become a sentimental thing. So the difference coming to ISKCON, like 2.5 years ago, and before that, it is not a sentimental thing right now. So before that, it was sentimental thing, and I ended up asking, like now what? Like give me this, give me that. So coming to temple, going to Saturday on Balaji temple, Monday to Lord Shiva's temple, read all the shlokas, all the songs. But the purpose is like give me this, like I have my green card interview this day, so give me that. Or something like if people whatever they want, that's what they end up asking things. So it's better we read the Shastras, Vedas, then we understand the power of our Lord or God, and these things doesn't even matter actually. Yeah. So for millions and millions of years, like if you look at our planetary system, right, like every planet revolves in its own orbit. No accidents ever recorded. We never heard that, like planet Earth strike Jupiter accidentally. We never heard that, like this has been happening for about like millions and millions of years. If you understand the signs and the range of his operations, I mean, like then you will not think about all these petty things, like or material matter doesn't even matter actually. Material discussions or our problems. It's just a matter like this for him if he wants to solve any of our problems. But like he provided everything to us to solve our own problems basically. That part we don't realize, and we put that on the God and ask him to solve those problems. So we should raise above these sentimental things and read Shastras, scriptures, come to temple and take darshan. And I heard one interview, Srila Prabhupada was saying this, like a lot of Indians go to temple without knowing their God, without knowing his power and all. So that has become a big problem to the society. And we also, like, when we understand the avatars he takes, like, like Lord Rama, Krishna, Narasimha, and we will understand how much love he has for us. We'll understand how much opulence and greatness, sweetness he has for us. And this way, like, people can gradually realize how they can change their perceptions, and they can make attempts to come to temple with a different perception, basically. So, any questions?
Yeah, I was just thinking of is that the context of this words, Parikshit. So this is Sukadeva Goswami's maybe 10th verse to 10th line to Parikshit Maharaj after he was elected as a speaker, and then why he is saying this. That okay, now first he talked about chanting, then he talked about like last minute Khatwanga Maharaj, and he started about Ashtanga Yoga, Pranayam, and now he's talking about the mind. So he's telling that for a dying person, what all things can trouble him, what all things can keep him bringing back in the next body to next body to next body, and mind is also such an important tool which is misused. So here he's saying that okay, see, first all these things are all right, but see, attain devotional service to the Lord and take direct shelter. So direct shelter, which is Bhagavatam, is non different than Krishna. Holy names are non different than Krishna. So yeah, by this system of and also this is there in Bhagavad Gita also. Tasmat service to Kalashu Mahamanusmara Gita, 8.8, where Krishna is also directly saying that therefore think of me all the time and do your duty.
Yeah.
So with that, I will.
So on Thursday, Krutu Maharaj was saying, right, like, Krishna is so merciful. He gave us the Maha Mantra, Bhagavad Gita, scriptures, Bhagavatam, Prasadam, devotee association, Sadhu Sangha. He loves them who takes care of them.
He helps those who help them.
Yeah, he helps them who helps themselves.
Yeah.
So being self-sufficient is the key. You have to be self-sufficient. You have to realize we have answers for all our questions. I mean, like, basically, we cry a lot about things that we don't have in our lives. So we should not waste time on that.
So the question is, we know this, but still we don't do it.
Yeah.
Why?
Intelligence is messed up.
But for intelligence also, we know the solution. That, okay,
Yeah.
if I'm sick and I have been given, this is your medicine, Krishna. So then, what's stopping us?
Yeah, people don't have the taste for that. Yeah, people definitely don't have taste for that, and they saw something else more priority than this. You hear, right, like, when there is a festival and if somebody has a friend's birthday or a friend's daughter's birthday, instead of coming to temple, they go there. So they say, we love Krishna, but they change directions sometime.
Just like the words lip service, not the action.
Exactly.
I love Krishna, but no, I have this another appointment to go to Krishna services camp.
Yeah. So there is a meme, motivation and discipline. When people are motivated, they speak. When they have discipline, they do it. When they don't, so they say, like, from motivated on January 1st, they say we are going to hit gym and we'll be in shape in 2024. They don't have discipline and they will be busy with mobile phones and drinks and all that stuff. When they have discipline, they actually do it. So lack of discipline, maybe. Yeah.
And like you said, the point because like weakness of the heart also.
So there's a yeah.
Like less determination also.
Exactly.
multiple factors are there. So,
Multiple factors, yeah.
Yeah, I also think one more thing. It's also about the desire.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, we don't even have the desire to advance in spiritual life.
Mm.
Our desire is the most important thing we have is our desire.
Desires, yeah.
So if desire itself is not there, then there is no question of all these things around us. You can give man every food he wants, but if he's not hungry, he will not even touch his
Exactly.
food. So that hunger, that desire, that this is the most urgent thing I need to do.
Exactly.
The most crucial, this is most important. There is nothing which is more important than chanting my rounds.
Exactly.
All my minimum 16 rounds in a nice way, not offending people or not criticizing, and doing service selflessly, unmotivated, uninterrupted.
Yeah,
So all that hunger, if the hunger is not there, then all of this doesn't matter.
exactly. As I said, na Prabhu, like when we read the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, when we start knowing about God, the perception will be different completely. Yeah. As I said, like, I used to see people crying, taking darshan, and I was like, these guys are maybe acting and all, but like, this is the factor behind this. Like, they know the true potency of the God. People who are crying, seeing the deity form, they know, those people know the true potency of the God. Yeah, I never cried, so I'm clearly saying that, theoretically I know, but maybe I need some more time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, one should not artificially go and cry.
Exactly.
But it also comes, Krishna gives that, the emotions also,
Yeah.
and that attachment to Krishna. By the way, we have a question on YouTube. Naeem Prabhu is asking, what is meant by messed up intelligence? Isn't this an issue with ignorance and not intelligence? What is meant by intelligence here?
Intelligence is doing what is needful and doing it right. So messed up intelligence is, you're doing wrong and you consciously do it. That is messed up intelligence.
Misusing the.
Yeah. So humanly errors are okay, but conscious mistakes are punishable. Yeah. You do consciously, you commit mistakes consciously when your intelligence is messed up. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Text 22.
Text 22.
Raja Uvacha
Raja
Yata Sandharayate Brahman
Yatha sandharyate brahman
Dharanayatra Sammata
dharanayatra sammata
Yadrishiva Haredashu
yadrishiva haredashu
Purusasya Manomalam.
purushasya manomalam.
Raja Uvacha, the fortunate king said, Yata, as it is, Sandharayate, the conception is made, Brahman, or Brahmana, Dharana, conception, Yatra, where and how, Sammata, in a summary, Yadrishi, but the way by which, Va, or Haret, extricated, Ashu, without delay, Purusasya, of a person, Manaha, of the mind, Malam, dirty things. The fortunate king Parikshit, inquiring further, said, O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed. Purport. The dirty things in the heart of a conditioned soul are the root cause of all troubles for him. A conditioned soul is surrounded by the manifold miseries of the material existence, but on the account of his gross ignorance, he is unable to remove the troubles due to dirty things in the heart accumulated during the long prison life in the material world. He is actually meant to serve the will of the Supreme Lord, but on the account of the dirty things in the heart, he likes to serve his concocted desires. These desires, instead of giving him any peace of mind, create new problems and thus bind him to the cycle of repeated birth and death. These dirty things of fruitive work and empiric philosophy can be removed only by the association with the Supreme Lord. The Lord, being omnipotent, can offer his association by his inconceivable potencies. Thus, persons who are unable to pin their faith on the personal feature of the Absolute are given a chance to associate with his Virata Rupa, or the cosmic impersonal feature of the Lord. The cosmic impersonal feature of the Lord is a feature of his unlimited potencies. Since the potent and potencies are identical, even the conception of his impersonal cosmic feature helps the conditioned soul to associate with the Lord indirectly and thus gradually rise to the stage of personal contact. Maharaj Parikshit was already directly connected with the personal feature of Lord Sri Krishna, and as such, he had no need to inquire from Sukadev Goswami about where and how to apply the mind in impersonal Virat Roop of the Lord. But he inquired after a detailed description of matter for the benefit of others who are unable to conceive of the transcendental personal feature of the Lord as a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. The non devotee of the men cannot think of the personal feature of the Lord because of their poor fund of knowledge. The personal form of Lord, like Rama or Krishna, is completely revolting to them. They have a poor estimation of potency of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.11, it is explained by the Lord himself that people with a poor fund of knowledge deride the Supreme Personality of the Lord, taking him to be a common man. Such men are ignorant of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. By the inconceivable potency of the Lord, he can move in human society or any other society of living beings and yet remain the same omnipotent Lord without deviating in the slightest from his transcendental position. So, for the benefit of men who are unable to accept the Lord in his personal eternal form, Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Sukadev Goswami how to fix the mind on him in the beginning, and the Goswami replied in detail as follows. So here Parikshit Maharaj says, Yata Sandhyatayate Brahman. So he asked how dharana, concentration, can be accomplished. And again he asks, Dharana Yatra Sammata. What is the object I should meditate on? And he says, Yadrishi va Hare Dashu, Purusasya Manomalam. By what process the mind can be quickly cleansed. So in the purport, it's already mentioned like Maharaj Parikshit was already directly connected with the personal feature of Lord Krishna. So this means like, Parikshit Maharaj already knew that God is a person. And he had no need to inquire Sukadev Goswami about where and how to, apply mind in the personal Virat form of the Virat Roop of the Lord. So impersonal. So why he asked this for benefit of others. Yeah. And for the benefit of others and who are like unable to conceive the transcendental personal feature of the Lord as in the form of like eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And it is mentioned like in Bhagavad Gita 9.11, it is explained by the Lord himself that people with a poor fund of knowledge derive the supreme personality of Lord, taking him to be a common man. And such men are ignorant of inconceivable potency of the Lord. So in chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, like 1 to 10 verses, it glorifies, Supreme Lord Krishna's inconceivable powers, the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world, like how Krishna resides in Golok Vrindavan and how he expands this material world through the expansion of Mahavishnu and with other forms of Vishnu. So how he maintains this material world and how Durga Mata like assist him, in Srishti, Pralaya, and Sthiti by being directed by Krishna's glance and order. And it is also explained like how Brahma assists in the secondary creation of the world. And not even a blade of grass can move without Krishna sanctioning it. And when pralaya or dissolution happens, all jivas rest in Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And when Brahma goes to sleep and when Brahma wakes up for another day, then all jivas are set to action again. Yeah, and when Brahma himself dies, and all jivas, you know, all jivas take shelter in Mahavishnu's navel, and all this magnificent things happening around in millions of universe, and even in this world, if you see that planets are revolving at a constant speed in their own lanes, like for millions of years, thinking all of this, our heart should immediately feel a reverence for him, and we need to feel respected and bow down for him. Yeah. And so there is a brilliant question asked by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to Lord Krishna. He says, he asks Krishna, why don't people worship you, Krishna? Then he says, you have such great powers, and your energies and your expansions, the creation, maintenance, and annihilation universe. So then, that being the case, the whole universe should bow down to you. But why don't they respect you? And some even criticize, you came like a son of Vasudev, and you are just an ordinary human being, and they just disrespect you. Then for them, Krishna answers in 9.11, who considers the God as ordinary.
But Brahma also considered Krishna as ordinary.
And he got his lesson.
Yeah, but then that means that Brahma has a poor fund of knowledge.
Poor fund of knowledge? Maybe he don't have the complete knowledge. Brahma is, we can't compare ourselves to Brahma, is somewhere else, but maybe some Leela, Lord Krishna want to, happen, and that's why he made Brahma to do this mistake and teach him a lesson.
But yeah, there is the point is also that Maya, the illusory energy of the material nature is so strong that no matter how elevated a person is, Brahma, who is coming directly from the navel of Vishnu, direct, he has come out of the personal touch of Vishnu.
We also come from our mothers, do our mothers know us completely?
Yeah.
Nah.
But no, this is about Krishna. Krishna obviously.
Krishna is, yeah.
But I'm saying that Brahma is such an elevated. Krishna gave the most important service to Brahma.
Yeah.
Okay, go and create now. Create places where I can go and do pastimes, where people wants to be God and they can also perform their pastimes. So Brahma is given such an exalted position. So Krishna has given the intelligence. Krishna is not the poor fund of knowledge. Krishna has given him the knowledge. Brahma. But it's just that
there are so many Brahmas, right? There is not just one Brahma.
Correct.
There are 100-headed Brahma is also there. 1,000-headed is there. So maybe
every universe has its own
Brahma.
But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't matter how elevated, exalted position of such as Brahma also can come under the illusion.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's not. We should not think that I have now become a pure devotee, now that is free. I'm done with all the Maya and the illusion. It can strike back the moment we become loose.
Yeah.
So Brahma became loose. Indra also became loose. Indra also said, what? Where is my worship? Daily, yearly quota.
Just a MLA. It's just a member of parliament.
Yeah.
We're talking about the president of the country.
Correct. So it's Prabhupada, one disciple said over Prabhupada, sometimes I fall in Maya. What did Prabhupada say?
You are always in.
Prabhupada said that, no, you are always in Maya. Sometimes you fall in Krishna.
Yeah.
To his one disciple.
There is a story, Ramana Maharshi ashram. It happened in Ramana Maharshi's ashram. So one devotee asked Ramana Maharshi, what is Maya? So Ramana Maharshi said, stay here for a month, I'll tell you what is Maya. So that disciple, he stayed in the ashram for 1 month. So at that time, the president was B.V. Rajendra Prasad. So Rajendra Prasad wanted to visit Ramana Maharshi's ashram. So he sent a kind of told them inform that I'm coming to ashram on this day. So usually, if Ramana Maharshi is sitting there, all the disciples were like, sitting like this. Okay. So the day when the president came, so they decorated the temple ashram in a nice way, and the president came, took darshan of Ramana Maharshi, and he left. While the president is leaving, everybody left Ramana Maharshi and they followed the president, like for the photographs, for autographs. And this disciple who asked, "What is the definition of Maya?" He told, "This is the definition of Maya." So that's it. We are all in Maya. It's just that, the God creates those incidents to show our stand. You're showing devotion, but let me test you. One day He will test us, and definitely we'll fail.
Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah.
Right. Should I continue?
That's okay.
Next verse.
Yeah.
So now here is the answer.
Yeah. Shri Shuka Uvacha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Jitasano Jitashvaso
Jitashano Jitasvasho
Jitasango Jitendriyaha
Jitasango Jitendriyaha
Stule Bhagavato Rupe
Sthule Bhagavato Rupe
Manasandharayeddiya.
Manasandharayeddiya.
Shri Shuka Uvacha. Sukadev Goswami said, Jita Asanaha, controlled sitting posture, Jita Swasaha, controlled breathing process, Jita Sangaha, controlled association, Jita Indriya, controlled senses, Stule in the gross matter, Bhagavataha, unto the personality of Godhead, Rupe in the feature of Manaha, the mind, Sandharaye must apply, Diya by intelligence. Translation. Sukadev Goswami answered, one should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing process by the yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and the senses. With intelligence, apply the mind to the gross potencies of the Lord called Virata Rupa. The materially observed mind of the conditioned soul does not allow him to transcend the limit of bodily conception of self, and thus the yoga system for meditation, controlling the sitting posture and breathing process and fixing the mind upon supreme, is prescribed in order to mold the character of the gross materialist. Unless such materialists are able to cleanse the materially observed mind, it is impossible for them to concentrate upon thoughts of the transcendence. And to do so, one may fix one's mind on the gross material or external feature of the Lord. The different parts of the gigantic form of the Lord are described in the following verses. The materialistic men are very anxious to have some mystic powers as a result of such a controlling process, but the real purpose of yogic regulations is to eradicate the accumulated dirty things like lust, anger, avarice, and all such material contaminations. If the mystic yogi is diverted by the accompanying feats of the mystic control, then his mission of yogic success is a failure because the ultimate aim is God realization. He is therefore recommended to fix his gross materialistic mind by a different conception and thus realize the potency of the Lord. As soon as the potencies are understood to be instrumental manifestations of the transcendence, one automatically advances to the next step, and gradually the stage of full realizations becomes possible for him. So, in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord praises Nishkama Karma Yoga, like performing actions and not attached to the results. And he picks up on 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, which are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Yama is don'ts, like regulations or provisions, and Niyama, do's, rules, and prescriptions. And Asana is bodily exercises, Pranayama is breathing exercises, and Pratyahara, withdrawing senses from sense objects, and Dharana, fixing the mind on Lord's form, and Dhyana, intensified meditation on the Lord, and Samadhi is complete absorption or trance. And purpose of all these yogas is to to avert mind and from sense enjoyment, and cleanse mind and purify heart. And but the materialistic men are like, always anxious to have some mystic powers as a result, like, of such controlling process. And but the real purpose is, to eradicate dirty things like lust, greed, and anger. And there are like three types of mystic yogis, Prabhupada explained. Like one is, the first type is, a mystic yogi, like after coming to like advanced stage in Ashtanga yoga, like dharana and dhyana, and samadhi states, like, he will get getting powers, like they can levitate, like they can walk on the water, fly in the sky. But they'll just stuck at those points, and they don't realize what's further. And some yogis, like they go to Siddha Loka and they attain powers and they come back to earth and to just show off, yeah. And other type of yogis, like, they withdraw from Lord's beautiful form and they merge into Brahman. And these are like the second type of yogi. And third type of yogi is like, they'll bring the Atma to the crown, like, and they can leave the body through the Kapala. And if they wish, like, they can even go to Vaikunta. Yeah. And yeah, if they want.
If they have that mystical power.
They are the pure devotees without bhakti.
They have bhakti. Yeah, they have bhakti.
But they have to do like they have some regulations, like they have to do it in the daytime, and Dakshina side, they had some, yeah.
So these are all these mystic yogis, so who can perform miracles. But like, if somebody understands that, like, cleansing mind, purifying your heart through bhakti can easily liberate you. You don't have to, that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport. Yeah. So we have temple, like, how easy for us to drive from our homes to the temple and perform bhakti. And at least once a week, Sunday feast we have. Gradually, we can come on Saturdays for Sravanam Saturday, Sravanam, and Mangalarti. Doing fasting on Ekadashis. So Srila Prabhupada is saying these are very easy, rather performing all these mystical mysticisms, all these yogis, they work so hard attaining all these powers and they forget bhakti. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Yeah, they don't realize the potency of the Lord. So that's what, like, when we see the Lord, we just see like a deity form. That's it. Once we understand what his potency is, and if we perform genuine bhakti, pure bhakti, genuine bhakti, if we at least try to aspire, develop that attitude to perform genuine bhakti, how easy like this he can deliver us, So rather doing that, people go to Himalayas. I mean, like, it's choice, okay, but like Srila Prabhupada is saying that in the purport, the three types of yogis, what they do instead of doing the easy thing. Any questions, Prabhu?
Thank you. Nice explanation.
Thank you. I would like to thank everybody, bro, all ISKCON Columbus community, you, and yesterday I called Mataji, Rajbhakt Mataji. I wanted some guidance on these 4 verses. Special thanks to her, Navin Krishna Prabhu, Yadanath Prabhu, Premachandra Prabhu, Premdas Prabhu, Ram Kirtan Prabhu, Ram Tirth Prabhu. And I would like to, just want to use this opportunity to thank few people in my life, because this is the first time we are doing something like this, right? And this is our first Sravanam Saturday, on the first Saturday of 2024. So when I was a kid, like, my grandmother used to share a lot of Lord Krishna's pastimes in our summer holidays. So I first saw the Lord Krishna's impression in her heart at that time. I still remember those days. I want to thank her, her husband, I pray for their souls wherever they are. I wish Krishna's blessings are always there with them. And my father's name is Krishna, mom's name is Lakshmi. So, like our Lord Krishna has two fathers and two mothers. My father Krishna also has two mothers and two fathers because he was adopted by his father's brother. So the father who adopted him, he is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. So like how we are doing satsangs every Sunday, Saturdays, something like that. So after he was passed away, like after 6-7 years, I took birth. So I don't know about him a lot, but he used to do satsangs Saturday. He used to like in a village, he used to sit. All the villagers used to sit surrounding him, and he used to he used to read every week. They used to feed prasadam to everybody. So my father told me this like a year and a half ago, and he never told me that. Yeah, thank my mom, dad for giving me birth, and I thank Shwetha for bearing me all these years. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.